He walked away on his own terms. 3 times the Defensive Player of the Year, a Super Bowl ring, a legacy nobody could argue with. Most players never get to leave like that. And now, with training camps open across the league, Aaron Donald is reportedly contemplating coming back. Not for money, not because it went wrong in retirement, because of a specific opportunity that may never exist again, involving one particular teammate and one particular building. Stay with me, because whether he should do this is genuinely one of the most interesting questions in football right now. Let's start with who we're talking about, for anyone who needs the context. Aaron Donald is a 3-time Associated Press NFL Defensive Player of the Year. That is an almost absurd achievement. Most great defensive players win it once. Winning it 3 times puts you in a conversation with the handful of best interior defenders ever to play the game. He spent his career with the Los Angeles Rams, was central to their Super Bowl win, and retired at a point where he was still capable of playing at a high level. He wasn't pushed out, he chose. And now, reports indicate he's contemplating a comeback specifically to team up with star edge rusher Myles Garrett and increase the Rams' chances of winning another Super Bowl in their home stadium. Let's unpack why that combination is so tempting. First, the pairing. In modern football, pass rush works in tandem. An interior rusher who commands double teams frees the edge rusher. An edge rusher who forces a quarterback to move creates interior opportunities. The 2 positions amplify each other. Donald, at his peak, was arguably the most disruptive interior defender in the league. Garrett is one of the premier edge rushers in football. Putting them on the same line isn't just adding a good player, it's a combination that would force offensive coordinators into impossible choices every single snap. Second, and this is the part that gives it weight, the home stadium. Reports frame this as a chance to win a Super Bowl in the Rams' own building. And for a player who has already achieved essentially everything, that's a specific, once-available prize. You cannot manufacture that opportunity. It exists in a particular year, or it doesn't. And the roster context supports the ambition. Reports describe the Rams as the most complete team in the NFL entering this season. So this isn't a former great being asked to rescue a bad team. It's a great player being offered the chance to be the final piece on an already loaded contender. So on paper, the logic is clean. But here's where it gets complicated. Let's talk honestly about comebacks because history is not kind to them. The physical reality is brutal for interior defensive linemen specifically. That position depends on explosive power out of a stance, absorbing double teams from 300-pound linemen, and doing it dozens of times a game. It's arguably the most physically punishing role on the field for a body over 30. Time away doesn't help. Football conditioning is specific. A player can be in excellent general shape and still lack the particular strength and reactive quickness that position demands. That has to be rebuilt, and rebuilding it takes real time. There's a reputational dimension nobody likes discussing. Donald's legacy is currently pristine. 3 Defensive Player of the Year awards, a championship, and a clean exit. A comeback where he's noticeably diminished doesn't erase that, but it does add a chapter that nobody was asking for. We've seen both outcomes across sports history. Some returns produce genuine second acts. Others produce a season everyone politely doesn't mention. Now here's the counter-argument, and I think it's stronger than people assume. He retired while still effective. That matters enormously. This isn't a player trying to recapture something he lost years ago. The gap is short, and the ability was intact when he stopped. And the motivation is right. Comebacks driven by money or restlessness tend to go badly. Comebacks driven by a specific, achievable, closing opportunity have a much better record because the player knows exactly why they're there and what they're willing to endure for it. There's also a version of this that doesn't require him to be what he was. A rotational Donald, playing meaningful snaps in key situations rather than carrying a full workload, could still be enormously valuable while protecting his body. Teams use veterans that way constantly now. So what would I actually watch for? 3 things. First, the timeline. If this happens, when? Joining before camp is very different from arriving mid-season. Reports note that joint practices are often the most revealing part of camp, and being present for that ramp-up matters for a returning player. Second, the role. Listen carefully to how the team describes it. If they talk about him as a situational contributor, that's a team being realistic and setting him up to succeed. If they talk about him as a full-time starter, that's a much bigger bet. Third, the pairing itself. The value here isn't Donald alone, it's Donald and Garrett together. If for any reason that combination doesn't materialize, the entire logic of the return weakens considerably. There's another factor that's easy to overlook. Football has changed, even in the short time since Donald stepped away. Defensive rotations are deeper than ever. Teams manage veteran workloads more carefully, and sports science gives experienced players better tools to recover between games. That doesn't erase the physical challenge of returning, but it does make the idea slightly more realistic than it might have been a decade ago. Of course, the league won't slow down for him. Offensive linemen are younger, stronger, and constantly adapting. Every opponent would view facing Aaron Donald as a statement game. The moment he stepped back onto an NFL field, expectations would be sky high. Every snap would be analyzed, every statistic compared to his prime. That's the burden that comes with being one of the greatest defensive players in league history. But perhaps that's exactly what makes this story so compelling. It's not really about whether Aaron Donald can still dominate. It's about whether one of football's most iconic competitors still feels that pull toward the game. Great athletes rarely stop because the desire disappears overnight. Sometimes it lingers quietly until the right opportunity comes along. If that opportunity is real, and if the situation is as good as it appears, this could become one of the most fascinating comeback stories the NFL has seen in years. Not because it's guaranteed to succeed, but because it's just believable enough that everyone will be watching. Here's the broader thing this story captures, and it's why it resonates beyond Rams fans. Retirement in professional sport is a strange kind of decision. You stop doing the thing you organized your entire life around, usually while you're still one of the best in the world at it. And then you have to live with that choice while watching other people do it. Most players say the same thing eventually. They don't miss the games, they miss the locker room, the preparation, the shared purpose of a season. Donald has already won it all, a championship, awards, and a lasting legacy. He has nothing left to prove. If he returns, it won't be for validation. It'll be for one more chance to compete. And that's a reason fans can respect. Whether it works is a completely separate question. And the answer to that starts showing up on a practice field in the coming weeks. If you enjoyed this, hit that like button and subscribe to Wintra for the stories that actually shape a season. And tell me in the comments, do you want to see Aaron Donald come back? Or should he stay retired with the legacy intact? I want to hear it. See you in the next one.